What can Rubik's Cubes teach us about sales? Go with me on this one because there's actually a couple of good ones here, right? The first thing you got to do when solving a Rubik's Cube, because believe it or not, it's not actually as hard as you think. The first thing you got to do is get your foundation. You got to do the bottom first. So what I normally do is the white one. The way you do that, bear with me here, is you do what's called making the daisy, which is you took the opposite side of the white, which is the yellow, and you put the white squares around it. Then you get the center pieces lined up. So I'm going to put my red on my red, and then I flip it. Green on my green, flip it. Orange on my orange, flip it. And my blue on my blue, flip it. Now obviously there's going to be different colors or whatever. Now, the same applies in sales, right? You got to understand in sales, your foundation's everything. You need to know the absolute basics. It's my favorite Bruce Lee quote of all time is, fear not the man who has practiced 1,000 kicks once. Fear the man who has practiced one kick 1,000 times. The more that you can master the basics in sales, the better you're going to be, the more consistent you're going to be. Because whenever we're not performing in sales, it's because we lose our foundation, just like what I've got here. When we're not performing in sales, it's always that we're trying to do too much, that we forget the most important things. We forget to build good rapport with customers and make them like us before we go into the pitch. We forget to keep the pitch short and consistent. We forget to 3 times close, or what we say, objection handle enough times. We forget to do the basic things that make the results happen. Now, with the Rubik's Cube, what I've got to do, now I've got my first layer, the foundation, is I've got to get my second layer. Same goes with sales. Once you've got your foundation right, now you can start building on top of it, right? So when I say building on top of it, now you can start putting in the fancy stuff like like profiling customers, or using third-party stores, using personal stories, or using the things that the advanced sales people can do. That's what you can start throwing in. But the problem is, a lot of people like to throw that kind of stuff in once they have you've forgotten all the important things that they need to do to start with. But again, remember we always say kiss first kill. You want to make sure you keep it short and simple. You really got to make sure that you're not over talking. We've got an 8-second attention span as human beings, literally 8 seconds. So you've got to sort of balance all the stuff you know by putting it into the stuff into the actual pitch itself. Now, I've got my second layer. Now this is the thing that I really wanted to talk to you about, right? Because once you get to this top layer, it's not actually about knowing how to move the pieces where the pieces are supposed to go. Crazy, right? All you do is use what's called algorithms. Algorithms are just sort of like equations. You do X, Y, Z, and then you've got certain results that are going to happen. Sometimes it's one result, sometimes it's a couple of results. But if you use that algorithm, generally you're going to get the result that you're looking for. Same goes for this one. So with this here, the algorithm is FURURF, so which is move the front, move the upper piece, turn it to the right. It's kind of complex, but go with me on this one, right? Because what I'm trying to make is a cross on the top. So I'm going to do it. And now I've got my cross on the top. Once I got the cross on the top, now there's a separate algorithm that I'm going to use, right? But the whole idea is that there's a specific set of things, regardless of the circumstances that I've got. If I use the algorithm, I'm going to get the result that I'm looking for. And now I'm close to finishing, right? So I'm doing the things that make the results happen as I progress through the system. And I've got a completed Rubik's Cube, right? Now, how does that apply in sales? Well, in sales, and especially with your routines in your day, there are specific things that you can do that make results happen. Everybody tries to move each piece by itself and make the day go the way that it's supposed to go by doing individual things. But you can hack that by doing the things that you know produce results. Having a standard morning routine, waking up at the same time every day, training in the mornings, right? Or planning your next day the night before. So having all your clothes and stuff packed and ready to go so that you're ready to sell right away. Get in the zone. All those things that are going to reduce friction to make your time streamlined. The more streamlined your morning's going to be, the more serotonin you're going to be able to produce, the less cortisol you're going to be able to produce. You're going to feel safer, so you're going to be in the zone better, right? Because your neurochemistry is going to dictate that. So routine's one. The other thing is, okay, what are the things that make me make sales when I'm selling? What are the algorithms that I can use to predict certain results? Well, for me, if I have a certain amount of pitches done by a certain time, I know that I'm in for a good day. Or if I can get a sale by X amount of time, if you're good with pressure, that's going to dictate a good day. The more that you can routinize your day, and the more algorithms that you can put into your day, the more you're gonna produce results. And so this is what the annoying part is like, we know deep down, you know the things that are going to make you perform well. Calling other people and networking and educating yourself, reading, staying away from things like video games or drugs, or not having giant weekends. The things that produce your results, the algorithms. So many of us ignore them and then wonder why we're not getting consistent results. So the answer is really easy. Just like my pal the Rubik's Cube over here, you just have to do the things that make the results. You don't have to know everything. You just have to know how to do the things that produce what you're looking for. If you can understand the algorithms, you're gonna kill it. First things first, when it comes to understanding how it applies, the first thing is understanding your foundation. The good analogy I like to use is, if you're building a house, for instance, right? You only got to pour about 6 inches of concrete slab. Whereas if you're building a skyscraper, generally you have to dig about half the distance of the building before you can actually start building it, because the foundation's so important. So the more you want to have something excellent created, the more foundation you're going to have to commit to. So really understanding your basics. Then once you've got a foundation, that's when you can start adding the bells and whistles, right? And finally, once you understand the sales process, do the things that make the results. Know what your algorithms are and execute them. So, fun little exercise for you. I want you to write down at least 5 algorithms, 5 things that you know that when you do them, they generally produce the results you're looking for. And I want you to try and, once you've got your 5, incorporate all 5 of those into your day every single day for a week. If your results are better or more consistent, I will be absolutely amazed. So look, understand what our good friend the Rubik's Cube can teach us, and make sure that you apply it so that you can have consistent high results every time. Happy hunting, guys.